Why do demons always gotta bruise people with their long touching fingers? Hello again, everyone. It's me, MadameMacabre, and welcome back to part 2 of our Dear David saga. So as I mentioned last time, Dear David is an ARG Twitter thread by artist Adam Ellis. We got through a good bit of, initial build-up in the last one, and here's hoping that this is where things really start to get creepy. Without further ado, how about we go ahead and dive right back into this bad boy? Okay, so we're picking up on Friday, August 17th, 2017. This morning, I woke up to the whole house shaking. It felt like a small earthquake. I debated even mentioning that on Twitter because it sounds made up, but I distinctly felt the house swaying. I mean, do you live in California? Because, earthquakes. There I go, we aren't even more than 2 tweets in and I am off. Sorry. I don't know why I'm like this. It's just a whole bunch of small things happening at once. I feel so uneasy, like right before a thunderstorm comes. Everyone is telling me to move, but I don't have any guarantee that this won't follow me. They just issued a thunderstorm warning tonight. Everyone in the city is talking about how weird the sky looks. I can hear rolling thunder in the distance. Monday, August 21st. All this ghost stuff has been really spooky, but this past week was the first time I actually felt unsafe in my home. On Friday night, there was supposed to be a huge storm. In the end, it passed, but that night was bizarre anyway. I fell asleep pretty early. I was incredibly tired for some reason. I had a dream that night where David was dragging me by the arm through an old abandoned warehouse. I'm not sure why I didn't fight back in the dream, or how he was strong enough to pull me, but that's dream logic for you. It was a creepy dream, but I didn't think much of it when I woke up. I took a shower, and then I noticed something. I'd woken up with a huge bruise on my arm. Now look, maybe I injured myself the day before and my arm was hurting during the night, which manifested in my dream. There could be a totally logical explanation for it, so I brushed it off, went to get coffee, which I do every weekend. When I walk to the coffee place, I always pass a food cart repair depot. It's always incredibly busy, especially on weekends. I've lived in the neighborhood for over 4 years, and the place has always been jam-packed with carts getting serviced. But today, it was completely abandoned. The whole warehouse was totally gutted and empty. Well, almost empty. I went inside to look around because I was astonished that this place was suddenly empty after all those years. Basically, the only thing in the entire warehouse was a single green chair. If you recall, David first appeared in my green rocking chair. It could be nothing, but it's weird that it was the only thing left behind. On my way back from coffee, the warehouse had been shuttered. It's remained shuttered ever since. The chair, my bruise, dreaming about an empty warehouse, and then passing by one, it gave me the creeps. I'll give him credit for that. That would unsettle me too. Needless to say, I didn't sleep much that night. Too many strange things are happening, and more frequently. So, I don't know. Anyway, it was a strange weekend. Now on to Friday, August 25th, so a little bit of gap in days. There have been a few small developments in my apartment, but I'm not really sure what to make of them. I just know I'm scared. If you recall, my cats usually gather at the door at midnight, but lately it's been getting earlier and earlier every night. I was almost used to the routine, so when they started to cry at the door closer to 10 p.m., I was confused. They began a new routine: hover around the door at 10 p.m., cry for about 15 minutes, then wander off as if nothing's wrong. But this week, something else has been happening. Shortly after the usual cat stuff, around 10:30 or so, I start getting phone calls from an unmarked number. My entire call history for the past week looks like this. You'll notice that I answered once yesterday. Since this has been happening for days on end, I thought it might be an automated telemarketer or something. Usually, if it's an automated thing, if you answer once, they quit calling. So I picked up. Instead, what I heard on the other end was a peculiar static electricity sound very similar to the static my sleep app picks up at night. Okay, so it does tie together with something. I was less than impressed with the sound recording alone, but alright, that makes it creepier. Okay. I didn't say anything, I just listened, waiting for some automated message to chime in. After about a minute, the static dropped and there was silence. I kept listening. I heard what I thought was breathing, but it was so faint I can't be sure. My heart was racing, so it was hard to hear. Then, just as I was about to hang up, I heard a very small voice whisper, "Hello." Something about the way they said hello freaked me out. It wasn't a question. It was a greeting. Just hello, a flat statement, so quiet I could barely hear it. I panicked and hung up. I didn't know what else to do. I closed all the curtains in my apartment and turned on every light. I watched TV until dawn because I was too scared to go to sleep. I sort of feel like I am losing my mind. If I look at each individual incident on its own, there are perfectly logical explanations for everything. But after 3 weeks of weird things happening, I don't know how to make sense of it all. Yeah, that's where it starts to get a little tough, because initially my brain automatically wants to find the rational explanation, but when you start to get so many things all at once, then it starts to look more like demons. The only thing I feel like I can do right now is write everything down, so that's what I'm doing, and that's what I'll keep doing. Monday, August 28th, 2017. So I moved the green chair out of the bedroom weeks ago. It's been in various parts of the living room ever since. I should probably get rid of it, but I'm not sure that would have any effect. Also, I'm going on vacation to Japan in 3 weeks, and I keep thinking if I can make it to my trip, this will all end, as dumb as that sounds. David lost track of me once when I moved, so maybe if he believes I've left the apartment again, he'll leave me alone. Anyway, last week I bought a pet monitoring camera so I can keep an eye on my cats while I'm overseas. It's basically a nanny cam that connects to the Wi-Fi so you can check in whenever you want. It runs 24/7. It also alerts you to sound and movement via an app. In any event, I decided to test it out this weekend. I was away from home one night, so I set up the camera before I left. My phone pinged periodically through the evening, alarming me to the cats running around and playing normal stuff. Then, at around 11, it alerted me again that it detected motion, but when I checked the feed of my apartment, I didn't see anything. So I watched the feed again. Still nothing. I watched it a third time and finally noticed something. Watch the chair. Yeah, don't like that. Whew. I knew it couldn't be the wind because I haven't had open windows at all this summer. It was very unnerving, but there wasn't anything I could do about it right then, so I flipped my phone off and tried not to panic. About half an hour later, I got another motion alert. Here's the feed of that alert. Oh boy! Is it flinging stuff now? I ain't a fan of that either. If you missed it the first time, like me, look above the shelf. It's a little turtle shell I hung on the wall. Yes, I know it's weird to own a turtle shell, but my family lives in Montana, so I picked it up last year at a native trading post. Since I've been back home, I've been too nervous to turn the camera back on, and today has been pretty quiet. That said, I feel really uneasy. I put the chair in the hall. I hope nothing else happens tonight. Oh, famous last words, I see. Tuesday, September 5th. It's happening again. I've been leaving the nanny cam on 24/7. It records every time there's movement or sound, as you know. I was going over the feed from this weekend and noticed some weird stuff. During the night on Saturday while I slept, it recorded the cats in the living room. It seemed pretty unremarkable at first. But then, after a few moments, Maxwell freaks out and jumps over something invisible. I mean, I've seen my cats do weirder things, but again, I'm ripping myself out of immersion. It's a spooky ghost, okay? I don't think it was a bug or anything. Maxwell doesn't react like that with bugs. He just eats them. Something spooked him. What's more, I almost never get bugs. I've seen maybe 3 in all the years I've lived here. Anyway, the next night the camera recorded a couple more strange videos. Specifically, it recorded Maxwell doing this off and on for hours. He'd sit up on his hind legs and peer around the room as if looking for something or looking at something. This is an odd behavior for him, and I can't come up with an explanation for it, especially because of the next video. Here's the final video the camera recorded that night. I suppose there's a chance it was a fly, but he never gets flies. Seems unlikely. So there's a bunch more videos of the cats just kind of doing regular cat things, but for the sake of it being an ARG, they're spooky cat things. I just can't shake the feeling that something has made its way into the apartment. It's odd behavior for Maxwell in any event. Things feel off this week, I can't explain it. Saturday, September 16th. I've been having so many nightmares lately. They're way more intense than my usual dreams, too. I don't know if it's because I'm stressed or if it's something else. This afternoon, I took a nap and had a dream I haven't been able to shake. In the dream, I was laying in bed and rolled over to face the other direction. On the pillow next to me was a severed head with a bloody spine attached, snaking down the bed. The head was staring right at me, somehow still alive. It had this huge smile plastered on its face. Horrified, I screamed, "What happened to you?" The head smiled even bigger. "It feels great," the head groaned. After that, I woke up. It was dark outside by then. Everything was quiet. Other dreams have been just as strange. Things like dark figures staring in my windows, even though I live on the 2nd floor. Stuff that makes no sense in relation to what I've been experiencing in real life. After that dream about the head, I've been feeling uneasy all night. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I decided to go for a walk, if for no other reason than to get out of my apartment. I went to a bodega a few blocks away to get a snack. On the way, I had to pass the warehouse that was boarded up a few weeks ago. It's actually on the way to everything. I pass it twice a day just to get to the subway. I hurried past it, since it freaks me out now. At the bodega, I got some Doritos and a seltzer, then made my way back home. When I passed the warehouse the second time, I heard a dull thunk from the other side of the shutters. I froze in place, but there was no other sound after that. I probably should have just continued on, but curiosity got the better of me. There was a grated window next to the doors, about a foot above my head, too high to see into. So I thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna hold my phone up to the window, take one photo, and then run for my life. I made sure my flash was on, positioned my camera lens through one of the grates, and snapped a photo. I almost thought I saw movement when the flash went off, but I couldn't be certain. The light bounced off the grates and was pretty blinding. I couldn't even look at the photo. I just ran all the way home. I was too jumpy to look at it for a while. I just ate my Doritos nervously. When I finally did look at the photo, here's what I saw. It seemed to be a different part of the warehouse. Maybe an office. There was a bunch of old insulation and what looked like a filing cabinet and ripped up leather desk chair. Then I noticed something else. In the upper right corner. Something that looked like a face. The more I stared at it, the more it started to look like a nondescript blur. Now I can't even be sure what I'm seeing. Maybe I'm too deep into this and my brain wants to see David when he's not there. But here, I messed with the filters on my phone a bit. Tell me this doesn't look like him. It's me, David. Ya boy. Ooh, don't like that. Okay, well, that seems like a perfectly disturbing place to go ahead and leave off on our adventure for today. that is part 2. I hope you guys are enjoying spelunking through this little ARG journey together. I think we'll call it quits here today, and we will pick up part 3 another time. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this. I will catch you all next time with another video, and until then, remember, as always, stay creepy.